Hello, I'm Samantha Holguin from the OSU Museum of Art. For this video, I will be sharing my Museum Associate staff pick with you today. This is a late period Egyptian statue of the goddess Isis nursing an infant Horus, which is a part of the permanent collection at the OSU Museum of Art. The bronze statue shows a seated Isis holding her infant son Horus. She is in a seated position, but her throne is missing from this piece. The identifying feature of this statue is the ornate headdress that the goddess is wearing. Isis can be identified by the two cow horns atop her head with the sun disk in the middle. She also wears a traditional vulture headdress, which was reserved for Egyptian queens and goddesses. In other cases, she may also have her horns and sun disk replaced with a throne, or she can have wings on her arms. This piece comes from the late period of ancient Egypt, a time when the country saw many shifts in power from neighboring empires such as the Assyrians and the Persians between 664 and 332 BCE. Egypt was losing its independence during this time, and enlisted the help of nations like Greece to eliminate invaders from Asia Minor. The role of pharaoh changed drastically, and many of these rulers were born outside of Egypt. By the end of this period, the Persians secured rule over Egypt, just before they fell to Alexander the Great and the Roman Empire. The outside influence of other cultures allowed diverse religious practices, and cults began to form around gods like Osiris and Isis. Land was beginning to be donated for the building of temples, and votive figures began to be mass-produced. Votive figures have been a part of many societies' religions, especially in ancient Egypt, and are figures of a deity or person offered as a gift. Isis was one of the deities from ancient Egyptian religion who had a cult surrounding her by the late period. She is the wife and sister of the god Osiris, who ruled the afterlife, and their son is Horus, the protector of the pharaoh and royal family. According to ancient Egyptian religion, her husband was killed and scattered across Egypt. She retrieved him and revived him, proving her dedication to her family. She is thus referred to as the Great Mother, and she was the goddess of fertility, marriage, childbirth, and magic. It was also believed that pharaohs were children of Horus, making them directly related to the gods. Images of her seated with Horus is thought to be a representation of rebirth or motherhood. Many of her followers collected votive figures, like the one pictured here, of her that they brought with them when they went on pilgrimages to her temple. Pilgrimages were long journeys worshippers took from one place to another, allowing for personal growth. The destination is often a major religious site, such as a temple. Several other gods had similar statues in temples, such as Bastet. These statues were cast in bronze and mass-produced during the late period. An artisan would carve out a mold into the desired shape, and pour in the hot material and allow it to cool into a new object. This process allowed for many people to obtain these objects, so at religious sites, several hundred nearly identical statues of the same deity can be found. This also makes it nearly impossible to identify an individual artist. Later on, these statues would be used as models for early Christians, who would use the image of the Virgin Mary and a young Christ seated together. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to check out our social media, especially our Facebook page, for more daily art and activities. Visit www.museum.okstate.edu to learn more about our collections, exhibitions, and programs. See you next time.